Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 Commitment to Erie Awards. I'm Pat Howard from the Erie Times News and GoErie.com. Thanks for joining us in this virtual format, one of so many changes prompted by the coronavirus pandemic. But the spirit of this year's awards remains in effect. In fact, they come as so many businesses, ours included, have been buffeted by economic fallout from COVID-19 and have had to adapt and improvise. Now it's time to get on with recognizing some of the businesses that give back to the Erie community in a variety of ways. These are the 9th annual Commitment to Erie Awards, created to shine a light on the various ways in which Erie's business community adds to the lifeblood of the larger community. Over the years, these awards also have become a celebration of the ties that bind us together and make us stronger. We at the Erie Times News and GoErie.com tell stories for a living, and news about businesses and the regional economy are cornerstones of our work. But there are stories worth telling that go beyond jobs, beyond profits and losses, new products, and other fundamentals of the business world. We're here again tonight to tell some of those stories and recognize the people behind them. The focus of these Commitment to Erie Awards is to once again bring to the forefront all that the region's businesses do to sustain Erie, address its many challenges, and push it into the future. That takes the form of applause for the businesses nominated and honored. The payoff for the rest of us is the inspiration found in the various ways in which businesses give back to our community. Community is central to the spirit of these awards. That spirit recognizes that even as each of us makes his or her own way in the world, we're all part of something larger. Only together can we really move Erie forward, something we've been doing with growing success in recent years. And we think you'll agree that these awards come at a very exciting time for Erie and the region, and the business community has stepped to the forefront of transformational change. Before we get to the awards, I'd like to acknowledge the judges who had the challenging task of sorting through the good news and pick the winners we'll soon announce. Amy Doolin, Associate Dean of the College of Engineering and Business at Gannon University. John Maganow, retired Dean of the Sam and Irene Black School of Business at Penn State Barron. Scott Miller, Dean of the School of Business and of the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences at Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania. And Jim Martin, my colleague and business reporter for the Erie Times News and GoErie.com. Thank you all for the work and thoughts you put into the awards being announced this evening, and congratulations to all of the businesses that will be honored tonight. Let's start by thanking the sponsors who helped make these awards possible. The Better Business Bureau, Presbyterian Senior Care Network, and Pop Luck Gourmet Popcorn, whose delicious wares you might remember from previous years. As our virtual treat sponsor, Pop Luck's going to be giving away some popcorn, and we'll tell you about that in a little bit. And tonight, the physical awards are metalwork art done by Chris Trott of Second Chance Restoration and Design. And now we'll get on with the awards, starting with the Nonprofit of the Year Award. The first category we present tonight recognizes nonprofit organizations. The Commitment to Erie Awards are at heart focused on businesses and how they and their employees contribute to the Erie region. But we start this program with an award that focuses on organizations large and small that don't primarily serve the bottom line, but rather people and their needs. These nonprofit groups enforce the values and compassion at our community's core, and in some cases cushion the harsher realities of life as lived by some of our neighbors. They do good works that are integral and indispensable to who we are as a community. Among their ranks are small agencies providing a crucial strand in a web of support services that help bind our community together. Other major players in the economic, educational, and healthcare sectors of the region. All of tonight's nominees in this category have deep roots in service to Erie and its people. The award in the nonprofit category recognizes an organization that has made a major and positive impact in our community and has supported and enriched it in important ways.
You know, Jim, Nonprofit of the Year was a very difficult one for us because there are so many deserving organizations in the Erie community, and we got so many nominations. Narrowing it down was tough.
Let's start with Meals on Wheels. For nearly 50 years, Meals on Wheels of Erie has been delivering food to older residents of the city and surrounding communities. The work, which calls on marshaling volunteers and helping the elderly, has always been important. but never has it been more important than during recent months when many of our older residents needed meals but were reluctant to leave their homes to find them. Each year, Meals on Wheels delivers more than 20,000 meals and shops for groceries more than 500 times.
Well, and our second finalist, Jim, WQLN Public Media has been doing educational programming in history, the arts, and documentaries for over 50 years. And they've always had funding challenges for the last several years particularly. And COVID was no new event for them when it comes to challenges, but they really stepped up. They've had to tighten their belt over the years, and they knew how to pivot. And in this case, they were able to pivot and be a very reliable source of information for the community.
Another of our finalists, Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest Pennsylvania, has seen the need for its services grow in recent months, along with rising unemployment rates and economic insecurity. Under normal circumstances, Second Harvest solicits and distributes millions of pounds of food each year to agencies in 11 counties. But these haven't been normal circumstances. This year, Second Harvest has expanded its services to meet the needs of the newly unemployed, expanded produce distribution, and found new ways to reach people in need.
Yeah, Jim, these nonprofits have been doing great work. But I think on balance, when we look at QLN's efforts during the pandemic to get information out to people, to start broadcasting public hearings from the governmental organizations, and their more recent efforts in getting the arts out to the community when people can't go to the arts, I think QLN wins Nonprofit of the Year this year.
We turn next to this year's Community Service Awards. All of the Commitment to Erie Awards are about making a difference in the Erie region and in the lives of its people. The Community Service category recognizes two businesses that have brought their resources and the time and talents of their employees to bear through their philanthropy and volunteerism. The two awards in this category illustrate that service to community varies in scale and emphasis, but at its heart, it's about an impulse to help others, to give back, to acknowledge and act on the fact that we are all part of something larger. The leaders of these businesses know that their success and growth, while it's always job one, isn't the only measure of the job they do. That service takes many forms, and one way or another touches a variety of people. But what these awards recognize is that the good these businesses do all comes from the heart and the dedication of the people involved. Here's the first Community Service Award for smaller businesses.
In the category of community service for employers with 50 or fewer employees, our first finalist is Fat Mom's Grub in Corey. There was nothing small about their efforts to help the community. When COVID-19 shut down schools, owners Jason and Janet Mom decided they wanted to offer kids a simple lunch for $1. Then things took off. They recruited volunteers, donations came in, and the $1 lunch became free. Hungry people showed up.
And our second nominee, Jim, was the Opportunities Unlimited, which operates Young's Cleaners. It would have been really easy for them to have closed their doors during COVID-19. But this group that employs individuals who have mental illness, addiction, and also who have served time, took this in a different direction. And it was really interesting. They started sewing cloth masks for people who needed them and sold them for $5 a piece. So they took an opportunity that came out of the pandemic and turned it into something that both helped their employees and their organization, but also helped the community.
A really great effort, Scott. On balance, though, by the end of May, Fat Moms had distributed more than 25,000 free lunches, earning them the gratitude of their neighbors and this year's Community Service Award, employers with 50 or fewer employees.
And now the Community Service Award for larger businesses.
Among employers with more than 50 employees, two stood out this year as we evaluate community service. The first, though, Scott, was Scott Enterprises, no relation to you, I don't believe, which wanted to do something for the community at a time when businesses were shut down and many of their own employees were laid off. The family-owned company began giving away chef-prepared meals. Each week, a line of cars formed outside the Ambassador Banquet Center, where occupants were handed fully prepared meals that could feed a family and do it for free.
Yeah, Jim, that's great. And our second finalist is Erie-based Country Fair. Country Fair has been recognized by Forbes as one of the top mid-sized businesses to work for in America. And they've been very engaged in community outreach. In 2019, they gave over 200,000 pounds of food distributed through Second Harvest Food Bank. They've engaged their customers. This year, they had this new special for charity pumps. And I know people who go to Country Fair just because they want to support the organization that is on the list for them. This is a really great effort on their part. And through that, they've raised over $26,000 to help 5 different charities. So Country Fair, our winner for this year of the Community Service Award, is in the middle of another fundraising event right now.
Next up is the New Business of the Year Award to recognize Erie's growing core of entrepreneurs. Many of the businesses being honored with these awards each year are familiar to those of us who live in Erie because they've been around for many years and stood the test of time. But they all started somewhere. And one of the keys to Erie's future is that more businesses start here and grow here, and that Erie's next wave of entrepreneurs nurtures new sources of jobs, prosperity, and service to community. The New Business of the Year Award recognizes people in Erie who take risks and invest their money in themselves in dreaming up and setting in motion new enterprises. The finalists for this award have been in business for less than 3 years, have shown promise and innovation, and already exemplify some of the qualities seen in the Commitment to Erie winners.
We have 2 finalists this year in the category of New Business of the Year. Rebecca Stein and Rob Mart, owners of Room 33 Speakeasy, had no reason to be optimistic when COVID-19 forced them to close. Theirs was a non-essential business, but in true Erie fashion, they weren't about to give up the ship. A business that depended almost entirely on alcohol sales became a 2-shift takeout restaurant with a creative menu. Stein launched a new business serving takeout cocktails and began offering a menu to allow customers to make special meals at home.
Well, in our second finalist, Jim, how can you ignore Underdog Barbecue? The focus of Undercover Billionaire this last year brought a lot of attention to Erie through that, became a very successful business, winning the Rib Fest last year. And then they brought attention back to Erie again this year when they did another special announcing that they're going to now franchise the business out of Erie.
Right, that can only be good for Erie, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know what, Jim? You know, Room 33, it could have been destroyed by the pandemic, but they came up with innovative ideas to change their marketing and to allow their customers to have a quarantine in style. And for that reason, they're our New Business of the Year.
The next honor this evening is the Workplace of the Year Award. The Workplace of the Year Award recognizes a central reality in most of our lives. We spend a major portion of our time going to work, or for many in these days, working from home, and doing our jobs and making a living. Some of us do it as owners and managers, making the calls that sustain our businesses and help them to grow. Some of us work on the front lines, producing products, serving customers, meeting goals and deadlines. A second reality is that when you give so much of your life to working, it matters a lot where you do that work. It matters that employees are fairly compensated. It matters that they are treated well. It matters that the workplace provides a constructive environment that fosters a sense of collaboration and community. And it matters that the leaders of businesses, large and small, understand how important all of that is. They understand that what people bring to their jobs is more than skills to be leveraged, and what they take away is more than the means to pay the bills. They understand that a constructive and engaging work culture is good for their employees and good for business. The presenting sponsor for the Workplace of the Year Award is Presbyterian Senior Care Network.
I'm Bobby Gray, Vice President of Care Communities and the Senior Director of our Erie campus at Presbyterian Senior Care Network. We are honored to sponsor this award because we believe that great workplace environments are instrumental to our society. For our team members, caring for our residents is not just a job, but a calling and a passion. We get to work each day with the world's greatest generation in a place that our residents call home. Presbyterian Senior Care Network is truly a special place because of our team members. We are inspired by all of those who are nominated and wish them the best of luck.
In the category of Workplace of the Year, we have 2 finalists to talk about tonight. Gannon University has made headlines over the last couple of years for its investments in its students and in its future. The planned $26 million renovation of Knight Tower is just one of the highlights. They were also an original investor in the Erie Downtown Development Corporation. Less visible, but still important, is the university's commitment to its students, faculty, and staff. Canton recognized as one of the best colleges to work for in the United States and launched what it calls a wildly important goal to address employee concerns about communication and hopes for future benefits. Working with the Disney Institute, Canton also created a program called GU Plus. That's resulted in the creation of a new campus-wide rewards and recognition program.
That's great, Jim. And our second nominee or finalist is the Red Letter Hospitality, who run many restaurants in town that many of us go to on a frequent basis. And like other restaurants in the region, they were hit hard by COVID-19. But they stayed focused and they wanted to help out. And they got together with their employees. They engaged in a $28,000 fundraising effort. They got 20 organizations involved, and they served more than 7,000 meals to frontline workers. Jim, this is a really tough decision. Every year we have a couple of really hard ones, and this was one of them. Both of these organizations are very deserving of Workplace of the Year.
I agree, Scott. In the end, though, I think we thought the totality of what Gannon has done and is trying to do for its community, its students, its faculty, made it deserving of this year's award. Gannon University is this year's Workplace of the Year award winner.
Let's turn now to the Agent of Change Award. The Agent of Change Award is inspired by all of the change that's in the air in Erie and throughout the region, and by all of the people and organizations that are pursuing transformative change to make Erie's future brighter. The contours of that future are looking very different than they were when these awards began going on a decade ago. The business community has taken a leading role in proactively planning for that future, both in their individual business endeavors and in their support for broader community initiatives. This award recognizes people and organizations that have the potential to help change Erie's landscape for the better as we go about reinventing the economy and the community.
Jim, we have two especially deserving finalists for Agent of Change this year. The first is a name everybody knows, Mike Batchelor from the Erie Community Foundation. During his 30 years there, they've grown from 53 endowments worth $20 million to over 850 endowments, and they currently manage funds over $286 million for the Erie community. And this is great stuff. And while doing this, they started Erie Gives. They were a founder of the Erie Downtown Development Corporation. They brought in McGee Women's Research Institute. And those are just a few of the great things that they've done over the last many years.
A lot of things to recommend them,
Yeah.
Scott, truly. Our other finalist, led by James Grunke, is the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership. Over the last year, they've worked to make economic development an Erie priority. They've raised money for the cause, identified areas of focus, and hosted an economic development conference that drew national attention to Erie. The Chamber, this year's winner, has also focused since COVID-19 rewrote our collective reality to make itself indispensable to the local business community by serving both as a voice for business and a place where businesses could go to be heard.
We now move to the Legacy Award. The Legacy Award recognizes a person who has been an integral part of the Erie region's business community and has made enduring contributions to the Erie region and its economy. The example of constancy, local investment, innovation, and staying power reflects the themes at the heart of what we're celebrating tonight. Just consider the roster of past winners. Nick Scott Sr. of Scott Enterprises, Paul Nelson of Waldemere Park and Water World, Thomas B. Hagan, Chairman of Erie Insurance, Joe Prischak, founder of the Plastech Group, Pat Black III in his long record of business and philanthropic achievements, longtime banker and Athena leader Linda Stevenson, and Ron Sertz, long one of the leaders and shapers of Erie's sports scene. The recipients of this award are keystones of Erie's business community, and it can be tempting to take them for granted. But their success has helped to build and define our region, and their work and its results have supported so many families and brought so much to Erie over the decades. They have been consistent forces for progress and service as Erie has developed and evolved. Our community is a better place because they're a part of it. That's a powerful legacy that merits recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, please recognize Rick Griffith, this year's Legacy Award winner.
The winner of this year's Legacy Award is a successful business owner, served on a long list of boards, and operates several schools, including Erie Institute of Technology. He's also a developer with a proven vision for Erie. But when many people in Erie hear the name Rick Griffith, they think of the signs that encourage us and urge us to keep life and ourselves in perspective.
And one thing that's consistent in the nomination letters that we received was that he's never satisfied with the status quo, Jim. And in fact, one of his nominating letters said, has an incredible gift for pushing all of us to reach higher and strive for more in a manner that was confident, persuasive, and most of all, civil. And that's what we want in a Legacy Award winner.
I've worked with Rick, for 20 plus years, and when I talk about Rick's contribution to the community, it's almost too hard to put into a short video. It's endless what he has done. Just selfishly at UPMC Hammett, he was a key member of our board for 12 years, and really behind the scenes, not a lot of people would know this. His expertise, his knowledge, his understanding of deal making really went a long way when Hammett and UPMC were affiliating. And Rick being in that room really changed our healthcare system. People know Rick for the great quotes he puts on his signs, and people know Rick for the buildings he's developed in the schools he's had. But he has served so many nonprofits in a very tireless way. And he was instrumental, really, as a board member with other community members, fellow community members, in helping shape healthcare in this community. UPMC Hammett would not be what it is today without someone like Rick Griffith and the work that he put into that. So his contributions to the community are obvious to the eye, but less obvious because he did so many things behind the scenes. He still does so many things behind the scenes. And he does it with a sense of professionalism and grace that not many people can match.
This is so special. The commitment to Erie Award is special, and I'm so happy it's going to a very special guy. Rick has spent his whole life committed to the Erie community, not just as the owner of 4 major companies, and including Griffith Electric, which is now almost 50 years old, which just goes to show you how old he is. But Erie Institute of Technology, a lot of other companies, more than a dozen real estate companies. And anytime I talk to Rick about his real estate dealings, the first thing he always mentions is how that's going to improve Erie and what it's going to bring to the community. In his career, I think what's most memorable to me, and probably most of the other people in the community who may or may not even know who Rick is, are those insightful and inspirational messages he posts around town in his 16 locations. And the messages are always meant for Erie. They always seem to be timely and relevant. And he's got to be a pretty smart guy to get all that into 7 or 8 words on all of those signs. And truthfully, I'm also looking forward to this new recreational slide that they're putting up and naming after him, calling it the Griff in Frontier Park. It sounds like a great free community attraction. I think I'm probably too big to go down the slide, but I certainly am looking forward to when that opens. And again, it's just one of those things Rick has done that's going to be for the entertainment of all members of the Erie community. So again, this award is very special. It's a great honor that's been bestowed on some very worthy people in the past, and I'm certain for many, many, many years in the future. But no one deserves a commitment to Erie Award more than Rick Griffith. No one.
There is nothing that Rick says he's going to do that he doesn't get done. And there's a lot to be said for that, because it's one thing to say you're going to do things, it's another thing to go do those things. The reason he gets it done is the level of preparation that Rick puts into everything. When I think about commitment to Erie and what this is, and he's getting this legacy award, and he's the annual recipient of this. I think if you talked about who over the last 3 decades should be the person named for doing the most for Erie, I think Rick would be in that short list. You know, they talk about who's on the Mount Rushmore of Erie. It would be Rick Griffith.
Rick, I think I value having won this award and clutching it, and don't necessarily want to hand it over to you. But at the end of the day, I can't think of somebody more deserving. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Rick Griffith, and I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank all the people who have gotten me to receive the Legacy Award. I received it as an individual as part of the Commitment to Erie Awards. I would like to thank the judges, the people who voted for me, the individuals that sent in letters, and the many, many people who have said, "How did you get there?" and congratulate me on the achievement. Ever since it was posted in Sunday's paper and put up on GoErie.com, people have called me from all walks of life. And it is truly humbling to realize how many friends and family members who care about me. The Legacy Award is presented to an individual who has worked for a long period of time to improve life in Erie. Now, when they start throwing around terms like long period of time, then you know you're getting old. But it is easy to love Erie. This is absolutely a wonderful place to live. The town is big enough to be engaging and interesting. There is culture, a great philharmonic, the Playhouse, a world-class art museum, a history museum that's going to live up to its name, Tom Hagen History Center, a sports scene that includes, hopefully for a long time, the Seawolves baseball, Otters hockey, college basketball and football, great rivalry between high school teams who regularly bring home state championships to our town in many sports. We also have a vibrant educational scene, from the private and public grade schools all the way up to the universities that provide education for all of our people at any age. So yes, Erie is big enough to provide all these things. But at the same time, Erie's charm is that it is small enough to have affordable housing, small enough to have sidewalks that I can walk on the bayfront, small enough to be traffic jam free, to be able to scoot to the other side of Erie in 15 minutes. Small enough to have a boat with a slip, or a boat with a trailer, a peninsula with miles of sandy beach, and small enough that one person or one family can actually make a difference. Small enough to actually be heard. Yes, in Erie, you can still be heard. I could tell you about my business and how they've grown from one to the other, but that isn't what I want to say. I want to say that over the years, there's been dedicated, wonderful employees who have made me look good. That's the business side of it. But I'd rather tell you how the big, small town is so open to me, Rick Griffith, to join the board at the Art Museum, to be invited to be on the boards of the History Museum, the Hammett UPMC board, the Cancer Center board, the Emergicare board, and many more, and now on the EMTA board. Erie is big enough to have all these amenities, but small enough for an individual like myself to become involved and to help lead them. No, I'm not saying that Erie is perfect, but that big, small balance will allow us to have the resources, big, and at the same time, the intimacy, small, to roll up our sleeves and make Erie an even better place than it is now to live into the future. So that long period of time that I commented on in the beginning of the speech makes me part of the senior citizens group now. But my wife, Noreen, and I still want to give to our city, to our Erie. Along with many other generous donors, we are building another free attraction here in Erie. In the spring of 2021, the sliding board park at Frontier Park will be completed. It will consist of 3 long slides down the Frontier Hill, each slide different, each slide challenging, and each slide thrilling. It's just another small part in the Big Erie. Thank you again for the honor of being named to the Legacy Award. But truly, for all those years, the pure joy of living in Erie has been all mine. Thank you.
This awards program was created to highlight the stories of businesses whose local roots and involvement reflect not just their performance in business, but also all they do for the community. They've stayed in business because they've done it well, and they've done well. They're recognized here because of all the good they've done along the way. Tonight's top awards, the Commitment to Erie Awards, recognize 2 businesses whose stories stand out as exemplifying the best of what's being celebrated here. An impressive, sustained, and dependable dedication to their customers, their employees, their legacies, and of course, the well-being and future of our community.
We're here tonight to congratulate, to celebrate, to help support your efforts and your commitment to the Erie marketplace. In our 6th year sponsoring the CTE Awards, your Better Business Bureau celebrates your ability and creativity in continuing to navigate the uncharted waters of operating a business in 2020. Part of the BBB's mission in advancing marketplace trust is to celebrate business role models, to encourage and support best business practices, and to create a community of trustworthy businesses. For more than 100 years, we have been the beacon of trust, and while so much is changing so quickly, trust remains essential, maybe even more important than ever. With increasing customer demand, unpredictability across the market, and intensified competition, businesses are looking for ways to create loyalty and build trust. How do you build trust? There are 3 simple customer-centric tasks to do that. Communicate with and educate your customers, be transparent and honest, and adapt to your customer needs. While we're experiencing many businesses making it a priority to start with trust and act with integrity, honesty, and excellence. The marketplace is also doing their due diligence in finding trustworthy companies to work with. A fog of uncertainty still surrounds us. In waves of change, we'll continue and try to knock businesses off course. But with a foundation of trust and with business owners like you in this special group of Commitment to Erie nominees, we'll sail through this pandemic together. Don't give up the ship. Start with trust, stay safe, be well. Thank you.
Our judges know better than anyone that picking just 2 of those stories is a very tough call. Just poring over the list of finalists and the ranks of past winners makes that clear. It's Erie's good fortune that it has many businesses that not only are good employers, but also good citizens. And we're confident as always, that you'll agree tonight's winners are deserving of the honor of the 9th Annual Commitment to Erie Awards and their place in the business community's honor roll. Each has a story that's unique to and rooted in Erie. Those stories are very different, but they reflect a common belief in doing things the right way for the right reasons, while staying true to their roots and giving back to the community and its people. They represent all that has brought us here tonight. They represent a deep and abiding commitment to Erie. The presenting sponsor for the Commitment to Erie Awards is again this year the Better Business Bureau. The first Commitment to Erie Award is for businesses with fewer than 50 employees.
Well, Jim, and the finalists for Commitment to Erie for 50 or fewer employees, these are small employers that are matching the economic heft of the largest employers in Erie. They've been doing great work. The first one that we are looking at is Debbie Bahanian in Glass Growers Gallery. She sold the business recently, but for 46 years she's been providing an outlet for artists throughout the region, and she's done great work with that, and everybody knows who they are.
Absolutely. For more than 50 of those years, by Nina and Stephen Palioris, a pair of Greek immigrants who found their American dream in Erie. They've served up an endless number of hot dogs, gallons of Greek sauce, and had countless chats with people they think of as family. It's a place where Stephen Palioris says, everybody does everything. and a place where Nina Palioris still prides herself in knowing what customers want before they place their orders.
Yeah, Jim, and along with their son Gus, they're still at it, even in these challenging times. And for that reason, they're the winner of the Commitment to Erie Award for 50 or fewer employees.
Now for the second Commitment to Erie Award for businesses with 50 or more employees.
In the category of Commitment to Erie for large businesses with 50 or more employees, we're going to start with a business that really isn't a business at all, Scott. We're calling it the Erie Shield Project.
Yeah, we got a group of organizations that came together during a time of need and really made an impact.
They include Penn State Barron, Port Erie Plastics, Muno Plastics, and Wiley Technologies. They took a process that would normally take weeks or months, the creation of a new face shield design and launching production, and launched it in a matter of weeks. At last count, they made and distributed over 124,000 face shields for first responders.
Amazing.
Another Commitment to Erie finalist we're considering is Erie Homes for Children and Adults.
Yeah, this is a group that started with as an organization that saw a need for a single infant who was found at Union Station in 1912 and grew over time to serve more than 400 people. They went from serving infants to serving children, later serving adults, and they've really broadened the work that they do. They've shown that they can pivot and do more with the services that they provide, and they now have group homes that serve people with intellectual and physical disabilities.
Great. Our third and final finalist in the category of Commitment to Erie for large employers was St. Vincent Hospital, which was founded in 1875 and said to be Erie's first modern hospital. In recent years, under the ownership of Highmark and Allegheny Health Network, investments have poured out into the community from this hospital. They've invested more than $100 million in just the last 2 years in various facilities.
Yeah, the construction that they've had over the last couple of years has been amazing. They've always had a lot of work being done, but they have really stepped it up recently, and that's had spillover effect into the rest of the community.
For all those investments and for 145 years of care, we chose St. Vincent Hospital as the winner of this year's Commitment to Erie Award.
Those were our awards for tonight. We think you'll agree that the winners and all of the nominees are worthy of the recognition. Congratulations to all of the businesses that won Commitment to Erie Awards tonight, and to all that were nominated for the good work they do for the Erie community amid their own success. Thanks also once again to our sponsors, the Better Business Bureau, Presbyterian Senior Care Network, and Pop Luck Gourmet Popcorn. As I mentioned in the opening, Pop Luck is our virtual treat sponsor this year. To redeem this treat, please visit Pop Luck between tomorrow and October 1st for your free small bag of popcorn. They will be available to the first 150 patrons as long as you mention CTE 2020 to receive the free bag. We hope you enjoy it. And finally, thanks to all of you for joining us for tonight's virtual celebration of Erie's business community. It's certainly been different this year. And how about a round of virtual applause for all of tonight's winners and nominees? Nominations for the 2021 Commitment to Erie Awards will begin in the spring next year. We're quite certain there will be more good stories to tell about the business community's commitment to Erie. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.